Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode. Today, we're going to look over Anthem. I know that a lot of you probably cringe at the sound of that, but honestly, we picked this game up on Black Friday. I think it was at $11.99. Oh, no, we picked it up before Black Friday. But point being is it's been on sale as of late, and obviously the value that you have to pay for something doesn't exactly mean that the value is less, but this game's gotten a lot of hate ever since it came out about a year ago, and I just kind of wanted to go over it and see what were the good things, what were the bad things that I could find from my perspective, being going right into the game with hardly any knowledge of it. Now, given a year ago, they had the preview of it and played it, wasn't really impressed. It was just straightforward, shoot these guys and you're done with your mission, and just the feel of it didn't come off the way that I wanted, but I wanted to give it a fresh look. So here we go. We're going to start off with, of course, always the good stuff. So here's the pros that I found. Now, the map that you are adventuring on in this game is absolutely amazing looking, and it's all seamlessly one map. There's no real load time between an area. Wherever you go, it's gonna be loading in automatically. So you have beautiful scenery to explore, lots of different areas that feel like it naturally moves from one spot to the next, instead of having to go through a door to get to the next location, or like interact with a spot to specifically travel, kind of like how Borderlands does. Instead, you literally are going from one area to the next. It's all seamless. So that's different than what we're used to. We're used to having to go through some sort of portal or door or something like that. This changes that and makes it a little bit nicer to have a true open world experience. The gameplay movement feels really, really good as well. That's our second point. We're going to be able to move in any direction. You will have basically jetpack, like Iron Man style flying, and your movement on the ground feels really good too. You're able to juke left, right. You're able to do dashes and jump up in the air and immediately start flying. So all that movement feels very comfortable. The controls aren't super like hard to get used to or anything like that. And I mean, that's a good thing. What I would say is, for a third point, is that the NPCs, the people you interact with, are also voiced extremely well. Whoever they've got for every single voice does their job really well. It feels very interactive, and I feel like with BioWare, that's one of their strong points. Strong point of BioWare from every game that I've played of theirs has been the storyline interaction gives you a lot of freedom and makes you feel like you're actually talking to somebody, and I feel like that's a strong area to have whenever you're making a game, because you want it to feel realistic. Now, going on, our fourth point in the pros is going to be the weapon systems are diverse. You have a lot of different options as to what weapons you can use. The actual ones that use ammo, you're going to be looking at things like assault rifles, light machine guns, sniper rifles, shotguns, pistols. You have a lot of different diversity with that, and then obviously each different thing, like there are some light machine guns that fire at a slower rate, some that fire at a higher rate, some that have lower ammo banks, some that have higher ammo counts. It really, you get to pick kind of how you want to choose your weapons. But beyond that, you still have more than just guns. You have abilities as well. So you have various different abilities that you can use to also interact, and those don't cost ammo. So those tend to be ones you probably want to be using more throughout the gameplay, so that you can conserve ammo, because ammo is a thing. You have to conserve it. There are pickups that you can get from enemies that you've killed, but those are not as often as you probably end up needing. If you just used your guns in this game, you would probably not be able to complete it, because your guns are not also going to do enough damage at points. You have elemental attacks and such with some of your abilities, and you have melee attacks that can be super strong. And if you are one of the quick moving classes, then you can actually do a dash in, attack, and then dash out. So your ability and how you handle each different fight is pretty good. it gives you a lot of options with this, especially with the 4 different javelins and choosing as to which way you want to play. The storyline is new. It's definitely something that is a new concept, but it also seems kind of familiar in the sense of how every storyline kind of has your protagonist, your antagonists. You have the main journey, the main quest that you're trying to accomplish, and you have the side quests, obviously, which are going to build upon your characters and make you feel more intrinsically involved in them. This is, our standard, but the actual true story, like the concept of it, is new. So, I mean, it is a brand new adventure in that regard. So it's a nice thing to be able to say, hey, this is a different universe to explore, something like that. Overall, the game in the pros end, I think that it comes off very nice. Now, I want to go over to the cons, and let's see what the negatives are. So, I don't know, you guys might take this as not a negative, but from my experience, and this is obviously all from my experience, not anybody else's, is that the female characters seem to be constantly flirting with me. And I don't think that that's my perception coming off that way. It seems like all of them kind of have that little hair flip, or that little like stutter in the voice, or something that gives away that they are like romantically interested in you. And it's not just like one or two, like, because that's not uncommon in stories to have one or two characters who interact with you and are your romantic possibilities. But no, this is literally like 5 different female characters. I'm playing a male character, so I don't know if it goes the same way the other way around, but 5 different female characters seem to be really interested in how I'm doing, and that's kind of disconcerting. It almost makes it feel, and I mean, dare I say it, a little bit sexist. Now, this is, take it as you will. You might actually prefer that every single female character flirts with you, but I feel like that's a poor design. It makes it so you have too many choices or too many misdirections in that, and it's just kind of like it's almost uncomfortable at some point. The AI in the fights, this is obviously our second point in the cons. It seems predictable. It seems really too predictable. So if you get up on a cliff, you know that certain guys are coming after you. The rest, they will stay away from you. So that doesn't help. Like it doesn't make it so you get surprised that often, which is something that is kind of hard to do sometimes with AI, and I understand. But in programming, that's something you kind of have to do. You have to keep the game lively. You have to keep it difficult. I will say the difficulty is there if you put it on the hardest mode. It does make it so you have to put in a little bit more effort with your gameplay, but still, even in the hardest mode, the AI does get to be predictable. It has a pattern, and you can start to associate that pattern and realize that how you need to approach every different situation. In our third negative that I've seen, it's pretty simple, and that is that the con is that your guns take ammo, and your abilities don't. Now, it may seem like that's kind of contradictory to what I had said earlier about the weapon systems being diverse, but the point is that you have guns, and they take ammo. And so you have to manage your ammo. But then you have these abilities that are really super strong, which only take a charge time. So why would you not just use your abilities almost all the time? Because there's really no downside to using them, other than time spent waiting for them to come back. So you end up most of the time just literally waiting, using your gun, because all your abilities are on cooldown. But if you don't have to shoot, you just wait and then use your ability again. So you're never really in a tight spot, and that takes away from the challenge of the game. So you need to have a consumable, something you need to replenish to make your abilities come back. or you need to make nothing actually cost any ammo, and then everything seems like it's worthwhile using. Moving on to our fourth point, there are very long loading screens. Very long. I'm talking like they did a test on it, and they played the credits from Seinfeld, and literally the credits from Seinfeld finished before the loading screen. So that if you guys watch Seinfeld, if you guys know how long those credits were, it's an immense amount of time. That's way too much time waiting. And part of the open world issue is that because it's trying to load in absolutely every piece of that world, it's going to make for long loading screens. So that's one of the things that they've been talking about as possible fixes coming up, which, obviously going into our fifth one is bugs. There's bugs. People say it's a broken game, and they're not completely wrong. And in your end game, now this one is something I take from one of our friends, Eskimomo. He basically says that he got to a point in one of the raids where literally he was trying to fight a specific character, and the character stopped moving and wouldn't take any damage anymore. That's obviously a problem, especially if it's a key character that you need to defeat to get farther within the game. So you can't have that. You literally can't have something like that in the game. And I'm sure it's something that they're being made aware of. Whether or not they're fixing it, who knows? I know they just come out with an update, and I've heard a lot of the things they added for the winter update, but I haven't heard any bug fixes yet. At least not in the information that I've consumed. So I have to look into that to see as to whether or not there's been any bug fixes yet. But the only bug that I've actually personally come into was really early on in the game. I actually had a situation where the game almost completely shut down, and everything slowed down in its movement, and there was no sound. And I couldn't figure out what it was. I tried exiting the game and then restarting it, and I was playing on Xbox. I play on Xbox, so going back in, had the same situation. Everything went really, really slow, so I had to restart my Xbox completely, and I cleared the cache, and that fixed it. And I haven't had a problem since, knock on wood. But that's still one of those things. It's like, I've seen, you obviously know that Borderlands 3 has issues where it'll shut down your Xbox, and obviously, that's not a good thing. If my Xbox shuts off completely during stream, that's no good. But obviously, shutting down in the middle of the game is no good either. So, there are definitely some cons, but I feel like from what was a year ago that was basically, given to us as a game then, I don't see the bugs that people are talking about from back then now. So that's good to me. And within the next 6 months, they basically said that there's going to be a rework. There's going to be a rework of the entire game, probably about how it's, how it maneuvers and such, and hopefully fixing lots of bugs and issues with the game along these lines. So right now, looking at it, my final verdict is this. I say yes. Pick this game up if you can, especially for a reduced price. Like I said, I got it for $11.99, a little bit before Black Friday, and that's really good for a game that starts at like $60 and is only a year old. And it isn't a bad-looking game. It isn't poorly designed. I would like some multiplayer, in the sense of PvP. But I don't know how easy it would be to actually add that, how much they want to put into it to do it, and it's also kind of going to be added on the second end of it, the back end, where it's already developed as a game. They'd have to almost redesign how things work with that, and that's something, that's a speculation. We don't know if that's going to happen or not, but we can hope. We can always hope, and we'll see what happens. But as for now, like I said, I give Anthem a yes. And that comes to the end of our video. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. If you are not already aware, I stream live on Twitch Monday, Tuesday, and Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch me. It's twitch.tv/silverdeath_gaming. And you can also catch all of my past broadcasts and my YouTube information here. So, well, not my past broadcasts, but you can catch all my past uploads here. And you can check out one of these two videos I'm going to list right here. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful holiday coming up. I'm going to try and get one more video coming up before then. But thanks a lot, guys. Have a great time, a great day, and check out Anthem. I will see you next time. Later.